Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanTrucks.com, and on this episode of The Haul, we pulled in our 2014 5.3 Silverado into the shop for a cool utility build. Now, I personally handpicked a bunch of parts for this build related to, using your truck for work-related tasks, maybe on and off-roading. So we've got a lot of suspension enhancements, off-road and on-road protection, lighting, in-bed storage, things of that nature. Now, before we get into the build, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on cool builds like this, truck news, and product reviews. Now, without further ado, we're going to start up here on the front with a bull bar. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so we got the Black Horse Off-Road 3-inch beacon LED bull bar attached to our front end here. Everything's secured in place. In order to get the tow hooks out, the front grille, the radiator shroud, and the front bumper all had to come off in order to remove those tow hooks, and then it all goes back on, and then the brackets for the bull bar go on to the tow hook positions. It's really not that hard of a job at all. Anybody can do it at home, and if you're running a truck that you use for your work site, a bull bar is a great choice for protection, not to mention it's just a really aggressive look. This particular one from Black Horse is one of the thicker, more durable options. It's a 3-inch fully welded steel, so it is a little bit more suitable for those work-related tasks to kind of protect that lower front end from brush, trail hazards, rocks, cinder blocks, whatever you might be tackling. Now, what makes this one really cool is that it does come with a bottom skid plate, which adds so much more protection. That's kind of the big selling point to this bull bar option from Black Horse. And then the other selling point here is going to be that integrated light bar. Now, a lot of guys pick up a bull bar for on and off-road and really want that additional lighting output. This one, you don't have to pick up something separate. There's no drilling required. You don't have to make your own modifications. The bull bar already comes with a 3-inch beacon LED here. It's a really, really bright option that comes with its own switch. So you actually just wire it into your battery, run it through your firewall, and you can switch this up to your cabin and just flip it on from the driver's side position. Now, if you find yourself wanting a lot more protection for extreme off-roading, you'd probably want to go with a full brush guard. This doesn't protect the top upper portion or the headlights. It's really just good for those smaller work-related tasks. Now that we've tackled the bull bar at the front end, let's spin the truck around and we've got some suspension to do. So now that we got the truck turned around, we put it up in the air to show you exactly what we're throwing on for the suspension for the utility build. This is the Timber and Suspension Enhancement System. Now obviously this is just one, we've got two, one for each side, but this is essentially going to replace your factory jout stops, which you can see up here. And as you can see, it is a pretty significant difference in not only materials and durability, but also just size all around. Now what this is going to do is essentially cushion a lot of the sagging that your truck will have when you throw on added weight into the bed, which is really going to come in handy when we throw on the bed rack we have later on. Now with that bed rack, you'll be throwing on all kinds of lumber, maybe an ATV or a motorcycle, a kayak, whatever you're doing with the family or for work. This is not only going to prevent the sagging, but it's also going to prevent unwanted oscillation from your bed. It's going to give you a better suspension feel and handling, giving you a lot better ride comfort. And the really good thing about this, as you can see from the jout stop, is when weight is not applied to the bed, it's essentially just going to feel like a stock ride. Nothing is going to change. It's only until there's enough weight on the bed to have this come in contact with the axle that you're really going to feel the difference. So what we're going to do to demonstrate this is we're going to put this truck on the ground, and we have a bunch of 33 and 35-inch tires we're going to throw in the bed. So that should be a pretty significant amount of weight to show how much sagging you'd get without the timbering system. And then we're going to install this, throw it back on the ground, and throw the same amount of weight back in the bed and see the difference. So we got the truck back on the ground, and as you can see, we added a ton of weight into the bed of our 14 Silverado. Now, I know a lot of you guys might not be hauling around 10 individual 33-inch tires, which all of this weight combined is about 1,000 pounds, maybe just a little over 1,000 pounds of weight in the bed. Now, we're still working with the factory setup right now. The stock jout stops are still in place above the rear axles. And as you can see from our cameras here, this 1,000-pound added weight to the truck is not enough weight to have the factory jout stops contact the axle and support that weight. So right now it's kind of just free weight sitting on the rear end, making your truck sag down, which you'll see in the driver's seat when you're driving along. It definitely feels like it's not supported. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw this exact weight setup back up in the air, uninstall the factory jout stops, throw the timber and suspension system in their place, and we'll show you that it is going to support this 1,000 pounds of weight, whereas the factory setup would not. We got our 2014 Silverado back on the ground, timber and system installed for the suspension enhancement qualities, 1,000 pounds of weight still back here, about 1,000 pounds with our 33-inch tires, and this is really going to be the difference between your rear end sagging down too much and keeping your truck leveled out and really supported with that added cargo. Now, as you saw here, the timbering system is a lot different in size and quality of materials as opposed to the factory jound stops. There's really a couple inches of difference as far as height goes, and that's the difference between having this weight supported and the factory setup just not cutting it. Now, since that's on there, it does support up to 8,600 pounds of added weight, which I know we don't have back here, but with our next mod, which is the Lightener cargo rack, if you're gonna add that much storage space, you're gonna have the opportunities to load up to about 8,600 pounds of cargo. You can throw a motorcycle back there with some added things above the rack, which we're gonna show you later on, minus the motorcycle. So while we have this truck back here with the rear end facing us, let's get these tires off here and get started on that bed rack. Now guys, we talked about the suspension and added weight, and when it comes to added weight, you're gonna have a lot of storage opportunities with some of the new mods that are out there for Silverados. The Lightener Designs Active Bed Cargo Rack System is a great way to add some extreme functionality and practicality to your truck. Now, if you find yourself using your truck to its fullest potential, you're hauling around a lot of cargo, moving stuff from the work site or the campsite, you're probably running out of room and hauling around things that are just a little too big for a basic 5.5-foot bed. Now, this is a great way to add some more cargo space, a lot of added tie-down points. You have quad slot support beams all around. All of this is rated to weigh just about 70 pounds of extra weight on top of your bed. Really not that much in the grand scheme of things. Now, as far as how much weight this can hold, on-road, you're looking at about up to 500 pounds. Off-road, 250 pounds of weight capacity, and then a static weight of 1,000 pounds. Definitely a lot of opportunities for putting stuff in your bed here that you otherwise would not be able to fit. Now, this cross beam here and the cross beam in the back clear the top of your roof. So if you were looking to fit maybe a 12-foot ladder, 12-foot 4x4s or 2x4s, you can definitely do that here with this bed rack and still have access to your full bed. In addition to that, if you find yourself hauling around maybe something taller like a refrigerator or an ATV or a motorcycle, these beams right here have twist knobs on the front. You can untwist both sides all the way and push this all the way back to your windshield and have full access to the bed for taller items. In addition to all of this, you actually have tie-down opportunities on the outside as well for additional storage bins that Lightener actually sells separately and we have here today. There's a couple of things we have to finish up with this, and you tighten up a couple of bolts. There is some drilling into the side of the bed here for these support beams. In my personal opinion, if you find yourself needing a bed rack system like this and you'd use it to its fullest potential, definitely worthwhile. The whole rack here is about 1,500 bucks. It is the most expensive thing on our utility build. But again, if it's something that you're looking to get for additional storage, you really want to clear up your bed space and haul around different things with a better tie down and security point, this is definitely going to be worthwhile. So let's finish this up. We're going to load up a couple of things on top of the bed rack to kind of demonstrate what it looks like, the functionalities of it, throw a couple things in the bed to show you the added space we've got here, and then we've got some attachments we want to put on the side. So let's get to it. All right guys, so the Lightener Designs cargo system for the bed rack comes with a bunch of additional things that you can buy separately to kind of utilize and maximize the space that you have here. One of the things is these lockable storage boxes, which are waterproof, rated for up to 60 pounds each. We've got 2 of them, so that's another 120 pounds you can add onto this bed. Now, these being waterproof and ABS plastic, they're pretty resistant to a lot of the elements outside. That in combination with a bunch of the other add-ons, you can really use this thing to its fullest potential and get the most out of it. Now, with all this added weight and the timbered suspension system in place, they're really going to work hand in hand here. Working with that system there is going to come in contact with the axle and just utilize the truck, making it more comfortable and capable, really using it to its best performance. And we have a couple of things left to do for this build, not as big as this one per se, but we've got side steps and mud flaps, and that'll kind of wrap up this utility build. So let's just keep things moving along. Just a couple little things I want to touch on before we go that we just got finished up on. One of them is the Barricade 4-inch oval body mount side steps. Now, as you can see, they are pretty badass looking, so styling is definitely an aspect here, but most importantly and most obviously, it's going to help you get in and out of your truck safely and securely at the same time, so it has that functionality to it as well. Especially for work truck guys, a lot of guys hopping in and out from the passenger side and the driver's side, of course, front and rear. The slip-resistant pad is an ABS plastic, so that's pretty durable over time. It's also got that tire tread-like pattern, so it keeps your grip on your boots when you're hopping in and out. That's also good for guys in wintry weather areas, seeing a little bit of road salt, seeing some icy conditions. That'll make sure you get in and out safely. The black powder coated finish matches that bed rack that we have up there with the Glock boxes, so it all kind of flows together as well. Now the body mounts for those mount right up to pre-existing holes under the rocker panel, so no drilling required. It's a really easy kit from Barricade, so I'd really recommend it for any truck owner out there, utility or not. Even if you're using your truck as a daily driver, they're definitely a must. Now finally, to wrap up the exterior here, we've got the Weathertech no drill mud flaps. Keyword being no drill. A lot of guys don't want to drill into the wheel well liners like that, so this one will just pop out your end cap screws and replace them right into their factory locations with the Weathertech installed. So this is good for guys hitting the off-road trails, kicking up mud to their paint. That'll protect that in the long term, and it also keeps your side steps pretty clean and mud-free as well, making sure they're as slip-resistant as possible. Moving on to one more thing from Weathertech. This is the over-the-hump Weathertech front floor liner. This is also black to kind of keep with the theme here today, but also when you're hopping in and out of your truck from that muddy terrain, you're tracking that stuff inside here. This is going to make sure your carpet stays factory fresh. The good thing here is it's got that tire tread-like pattern also to keep that slip resistant, while also keeping all the spills and messes in there confined to the floor mats. They've got the tie-down points or the lockdown points here to make sure they don't shift around in your car or your truck while you're driving around. So that's really a no-brainer. The over the hump gives it total floor coverage to cap that one off. All right guys, that just about wraps up this utility build for the Chevy Silverado. Now if you're using your truck to its fullest potential, all of the mods on this build are going to be super useful, very functional, and very practical. The bed rack in the back obviously helping with hauling, different kinds of storage, suspension mods for the added weight, bull bar up front for protection, side steps to get you in and out, and Weathertech floor liners to help with keeping your truck clean, as well as those mud flaps. If you like this build and you want to see more like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on those future projects, as well as product reviews and news pieces on the new model trucks. Make sure you keep it locked right here at AmericanTrucks.com.